Hi there, I'm Chris Berman. We got a lot of games to cover, so let's get to it. In our first game this week, we had the Falcons squeeze out a four-point victory. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Roosevelt Colvin might be the biggest loss on this list. He'll be out for the rest of the regular season. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Corey Chavis will be on the sidelines for a while, so this defense will need to do some reshuffling in his absence. The diagnosis, a neck strain. He'll be out for 4 weeks. Now, on to even bigger news, as you may have already heard. Dalen McCutcheon will miss the remainder of the season. So now that secondary is going to have to really come together if they're going to make up for his absence. Now we'll move on to our top story of the day. Terrell Owens is going to find himself on the shelf, and that will be a major blow to his team. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Rams pick up their 6th win of the year. Ravens lost this one, but will stay at number 2 in the AFC North. The Colts win yet again this week and keep their impressive streak alive. Tom Brady threw for 250-plus yards and helped his Patriots beat the Browns. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Jason Simmons will be playing his football elsewhere, though perhaps not for as much as he would have liked. 4 years, $1.0 million. Meyer is going to find himself with a new club, and he'll be in a new tax bracket too. 3 years, $1.1 million.
Titans, Texans. Aaron Glenn set to receive the kick at his own 20. Actually will be inside his 20 to the 19. Gets a little wall to the right with a spin move. Now goes back down the left-hand side. And they're sleeping on defense. He could go all the way. 81 yards. The Texans win this one by the final score of 16-6. Deep in Cajun country in New Orleans, we had the Saints squeeze out a 4-point victory. Over in the stadium, we had the Panthers lose by a 9-point margin. The Chiefs' defense held their opponents to under 100 rushing yards in their win at Qualcomm Stadium. The Jets won on the road and will now head home to meet the Browns. The Giants won this contest but will stay at the 2nd place in the NFC East. Raiders, Cowboys. Quincy Carter is calling signals at the 23-yard line and drops straight back to pass, then chucks it under his shoulder. He'll go all the way. The play we're playing pass, it's a running score. The Cowboys go on to win this by the final score of 27-7. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Vikings pick up their 8th win of the year. Lawyers in Love Malloy played well despite the loss and showed us why he's ranked up at the top of the league. Sean Alexander rushed for 2 touchdowns and helped his Seahawks beat the Cardinals. And in our final game, we had the Bears come away victorious. So let's change things up a bit and turn to a guy that's had his eye on the college game, and that's our own Mel Kiper Jr. He joins us now. Mel, your work never ends, I know. Believe me, I know better than anybody else. But it's never too early to start thinking about next year's draft, is it?
Never too early indeed. And now that, for the most part, the regular season in college football is behind us, we can really start looking back at the guys that have impressed me the most across college campuses this year. Goodwin is someone I think of right away when I think of the best prospects in college football. 6'4", 291, out of Maryland. And this is a guy that I really believe could be an every down player, though his specialty is definitely rushing the quarterback. At the college level, he was able to really gain an advantage thanks to an explosive first step. Wright is another guy I've always liked a lot. Basically plays with a sort of reckless abandon out there. He's got a non-stop motor, and if he can learn to play the backside pursuit a little better, he could turn out to be a really good one. So that'll do it for now, but expect there to be plenty happening between now and April.
So another week in the books here on ESPN, but what do you say we hand out a few game balls before we go? Here's my prime-time players. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.